Hey guys, this is Coach Tom. I'm here with Coach Chris, and today we're giving you a tutorial of box squats. Box squats really have been made popular through Westside and Louis Simmons, but he didn't invent box squats. He just took it from Peanuts West, who was with the original Westside down in Culver City in the States. And the fun fact is that Lou, when he was stationed in Berlin, read about box squats through a magazine and took it for his own powerlifting career and club. And we're at the program using box squats mainly as an accessory movement, hence it's quite different to our more commonly used Olympic style squat. So you're not as knee dominant as you are on an Olympic style squat, your knees don't move as much forward. So we really want to be more posterior chain dominant on that. So we sit back more, we stand a little wider than we used to. We really want to pause on the box and then make sure that we engage all the posterior chain and also the quads to get out of the box. So first of all, we want to have a proper setup. So for the proper setup, you will stand next to your box and make sure that the corner of the box is between your legs. It makes it easier to squat there. So then you stand somewhat a bit wider than shoulder width. And as you squat, I want you to really focus on keeping that chin vertical. So you start by pushing your hips back like you do in every squat movement, but not excessively. But here we will aim for that. So you really sit back, then pause on the box, then rock forward again and stand up. Again. What we are looking for is to really have the weight on our heels, forcing our knees to be pushed out as we stand up to make it more posterior chain dominant. So with the barbell, of course, it differs slightly because we need to take in consideration that we got a really tight setup. So as you walk onto the barbell, make sure and you grip somewhat which is comfortable. So in between shoulder width, a little wider. Then make sure that you place the bar on the palm of your hand. Place it for a high bar setup, place it on top of your traps. Then stand it up with both feet, then take 2 steps to walk it out. And then you basically find your stance. So again, you stand a little wider than you would be in a regular Olympic style squat. Then you sit back like as much as you can while keeping a pretty upright torso here. Pause on the box, then explode all the way up. Again, you sit back, hold the tension, and sit up as much as you can. Okay. To make it more back dominant, we can also use a somewhat low bar setup. Not a real powerlifting low bar setup, but a setup which is lower on the traps and in between your rear delts. For this, you might grab the bar a little wider. Yeah, you can place it a little lower. Yes. You can grab the bar a little wider, push your elbows further behind, which makes it more comfortable to have. And then again, you got the setup, you really breathe into your stomach, brace your abs, then break at the hip, push your knees out as much as you can. You can also have a training partner stand next to you and give you something like a tactile feedback. Yeah. We want to make sure that we stay as upright as we can also during those squats so that we don't fall forward. So we really want to keep the tension in the whole body, stand a little wider, force our knees to be pushed out and really be upright as we do this. So to make the box squat suit your needs, you need to find out which placement will benefit you the most. So if it's a more high bar setup, which you do in an Olympic style squat, or more a low bar setup, which you mostly do in a powerlifting squat. So what we are looking for is a pause on the box, engagement of the abs and the breathing, an upright torso, and a fast upward movement as you sit on the box. When we have a look at this, we also need to have a look at the most common errors. So when we go to the errors in the setup would be a sloppy setup. So just take the bar and go. So something like that. If your setup is not tight and not efficient, you won't squat much with that. Even if you use it, as we do at the program, as an accessory movement. Because you always want to develop your accessory movements as well as your main lifts. So, sloppy setup would be one common error. Then, the next thing, which is something you might have done in the past when you learned how to squat, is a squat to a box. So, you got a nice setup, then you go to the box, and then you just slightly touch the box. This is completely fine if you're new to squats and if you learn squats, but this is not the stimulus we're looking for when we're aiming for box squats. So we really want you to stay on the box, pause for a second, keep the full body tension, and then explode all the way up. Another error would be a too narrow stance. A too narrow stance doesn't allow us to push the knees to the side as much, so it gets more knee dominant. So again, that would be more your typical Olympic style squat, but to a box. Another common error is good morning the lift. Not because it's heavy, but you're rocking too much. So if you rock too much as you sit on the box, as you can see, Chris is doing everything fine, but his torso is way too much in front, and then he's good morning the lift. Because it's light, he's able to keep the tension in the back, but if it gets heavier, he won't make the lift. Another error, and this is for box squat especially, because we don't usually squat as deep as with a regular squat, is the knee cave. So, because we want our knees to be forced to the side, and if you stand right, you stand more wide than on your regular squat, you sit back, and if your knees cave like this, we don't want that. So really we want you to use your glutes to be able to push your knees to the side and fulfill the standards, which are our golden standards for a box squat. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you subscribe, because we still got the bet on with Manu. And leave a like. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, either in the comments or through our Instagram channel. And have fun with our program. Thank you.